The UK Time Out on Radio Biafra bringing news beats from across the United Kingdom, incisive analysis by the People's Parliament. Our panel dissects the topic of the week and listeners interact.
Also featuring great Biafran history, education, awareness, and enlightenment, plus entertainment galore.
Tune in to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. Sundays from 7:30 p.m. Biafran time and British Summer Time. Set out for a fabulous week ahead with the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. News, views, previews and reviews. Join us.
Good evening from here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are. Welcome to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ikechukwu Nice Mwokoro Ichie Wachinemere. I hail from Onitsha Miri, Ezinihite, Owerri Province in Biafra. And by the special grace of Chukwuka Biama, your support, I serve my beloved people of Biafra as the national coordinator here in the United Kingdom. We start with a word of prayer in the language of heaven. Chukwuka Biama primi heni na heni pila ansogi lo ene nyego tuto ena jagi ma ubochi taa ubochi uka ubochi afo eze aina yogi baga rammeha anyi niile uzula nisile mehegi mera anyi pere amara gipara anyi uta zuru anyi oke Mota ụbọchị afọ anyị na-ayọ gị ka afụfọ pụtara anyị ihe ọma niile dị iche iche, ngọzi gị niile dị iche iche, ebe niile ha na-ezo na afụfọ pụtara anyị ha. Nakwa ayọ gị ka afụfọ gburu anyị ndị iro anyị, ndị na-ekwe na anyị ga-ebi, ndị na-achọ ka anyị nọrọ n'ụwa rụzuo ọrụ nke ịkpọrọ anyị ka anyị rụọ. Afụfọ gbuo ha, fọpụta ha ebe ọbụla ha na-ezo na ndị nke na-enwe nchegharị ya fọgbuo ha fọmina ha n'ime ka anyị nwee ike inwere onwe anyị. Afọ a fọpụtakwara anyị onye ndu anyị, nwa gị nwoke Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, n'aka ndị iro ebe ọ nọ n'ime ụlọ itiri ndị ọjọọ akpọgburu ya, fọpụta ya n'ihe ka o nwere onwe ya n'oge na-agaghị ete aka. Ya ka anyị na-ayọ gị mgbe niile, kwere na ị ga-emezuru anyị ya, nakwa na ị ga-eme karịa ụka anyị yọrọ gị. Ayọ gị site n'aha nwa gị nwoke nke ị hụrụ n'anya, Yeshua Hamashia. Ise 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 ise. Elu megide ala megide, elu na ala megide, ndị si n'ọgaga dịrị anyị na mma. Elu megide ala tigbo ha, elu na ala megide, ndị si n'ọgaga dịrị anyị na mma. Nwa Chineke mmeri bụ nke gị, ụmụ Chineke mmeri bụ nke anyị. Coming up next, News Beats. Don't go away.
Going down to love, God of Abraham, to the land of flowing with milk and honey, they cannot be found. To the rising sun, to the dying day, shining out in the sky, shining out so bright, it's open on the rise.
Good evening, dear friends and lovers of freedom. You are welcome to this week's Newsbeat, being the 24th of November 2024. I am Mazi Nnamdi, and with me in the studio is one other Cindy. IPOB UK end-of-year ESM fundraising program of events has been finalized. The event will have hybrid venues, with face-to-face at the St. Lawrence Church Hall, London, where our Southeast region will hold our end-of-year get-together immediately following the joint ESM fundraising. Virtual participation online is available via Zoom. Other zones outside the Southeast have been mandated to hold their own end-of-year meeting at the same time so they could join Zoom as a family. These plans, which were outlined by the UK IPOB National Coordinator Chief Ikechukwu Naizuokoro, are geared towards effective participation and efficiency, pointing out the importance of funding our gallant ESM volunteers, especially this festive season. He encouraged our massive involvement both in attendance and financial contribution, urging every IPOB UK family member to invite their friends, colleagues, and all lovers of freedom in their contact networks. Chief Nwokoro expressed his gratitude to all principal officers and team members who are honestly working flat out to make our December 7th ESM fundraising a success in spite of all constraints. He thanked the active members of the IPOB UK fundraising and marketing team for their dedication, encouraging others to emulate the good examples. The UK National Coordinator also asked zones to conduct town evangelism outreach as an essential step to create more awareness in readiness for the ESM fundraising, just as Luton Zone did yesterday.
Good evening. There will be a joint team meeting comprising the fundraising, marketing, media, IT innovation, and community engagement mobilization teams this coming Friday to cross all the T's and dot all the I's ahead of the Saturday, December 7th IPOB UK National ESM fundraising. The UKNC confirmed that special guest invites have been dispatched, encouraging members to send to their contacts as required, while promo flyers and jingles will be released from tomorrow. IPOB UK National Coordinator Chief Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has thanked all UK top leaders for boldly speaking up on our radio program. Today we round off our special November community engagement broadcast, which highlighted the need for Igbo unity of purpose towards the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which will restore security, stability, and prosperity to our land and to our people. While praising the Igbo community leaders such as Chief Angus Chukwemeka, Dr. Jude Eze, Chief Barrister Ken Udoka, all of Umakondibo UK, Dr. Michael Chukwujepo, Secretary General of Congress of Igbo Leaders, and Dr. Nana Igwe, President Emeritus of Ohaneze Ndigbo UK and Ireland, for their various invaluable contributions. Chief Mazi Nnamdi urged them and all the Igbo UK and diaspora leaders to utilize their position of influence to support IPOB through the ESM secure our ancestral territorial integrity, reminding all of that IPOB has been championing the liberation of our people from all manner of suppression and repression. The panels on our special November episodes of the UK Time Out have demonstrated an excellent understanding of the positions of Igbo in zoo politics. The panelists mutually accepted that the collective efforts by top Igbo politicians will be required to unconditionally release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through a political solution, referring to the adoption of similar strategy by the Yorubas to set Sunday Igbo free. The panelists, however, agreed that this mistreatment and marginalization of Igbo in Nigeria, which has reached a crescendo, now calls for urgent concerted actions. Join us on the People's Parliament segment shortly after the news breaks for the concluding part of this highly educative and insightful series.
Former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has added his voice to the recent collective call by politicians of Igbo extraction for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Okorocha, who made this sensational statement during the night of tributes for late Ifeanyi in Abuja, said such action by Nigerian President Bola Tinubu and his ruling party APC would be a befitting post-mortem honor to the deceased Anambra Senator. Some political analysts and commentators reckon Rochas' proclamation may have been hypocritical, as he might have been poking Tinubu and APC, having seemingly fallen out of favor with Aso Rock. Others think it was a timely utterance that was long overdue. Responding to Owele's Rochas' statement that the best way to honor Ifeanyi was the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu so that Igbos can go home and reorganize themselves, Zoo Senate President Godswill Akpabio promised to convey the message to Tinubu, acknowledging the undeniable efforts of Igbos, saying they are the only people in Nigeria that bring development to any place they go. Many political bigwigs brave security threats from auto criminals to attend Ifeanyi burial in Nnewi over the weekend. Meanwhile, reports say ISWAP terrorists have intensified their recruitment drive online, which Zoo military claims to have uncovered. Meanwhile, Lakurawa, the latest armed radical Islamist Janjaweed militia operating in Arewa Republic of the Zoo this week, wreaked more havoc, sacking communities in the wake of the reckless banditry, which the Zoo military are helpless to tackle. But Zoo soldiers turned to tigers on innocent armless civilians as a man and his wife were brutally beaten in Abuja for allegedly overtaking an army general's car.
In another development, Abia State Governor Alex Otte have accused opposition politicians in the state of working in collaboration with external parties or being behind the recent wave of insecurity, saying they are the real sponsors of gunmen attacks in Abia State. Otte further stated that the attacks have nothing to do with IPOB. Still in Abia, an elder statesman and president of Ososimo Foundation, Dr. Chike Obidibo, has told Tinubu that any attempt to use the appointment of Lady Bianca Ojukwu to douse secessionist agitators for dampening the protest against the continued marginalization of Igbo will fail woefully. Fulani terrorists masquerading as herdsmen this week attacked Igbo communities. Still on insecurity, IPOB worldwide leaders stalwart Mazi Foreign, aka Ekpa, has revealed that Governor Hope Uzodinma has employed local youths to serve as spies in identifying IPOB activists for easy elimination. Another notable IPOB ex-officio, Mazi Benjamin Mbadugu, tweeted yesterday that his country home in Ihiala and was under siege by moderate Sioux armed forces. We must be watchful, prayerful, and careful. Elsewhere, Ohaneze Youth Wing leader Okechukwu Isiguzoro has urged Southeast leaders to engage in the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Isiguzoro also suggested the engagement of non-Igbo prominent traditional rulers like the Oba of Lagos and the Sultan of Sokoto to help facilitate the settlement of Kanu's matter. There has been increased call on Tinubu and APC to stop their Igbophobia and get a grip on the insecurity ravaging the country.
Contrary to the disinformation from BBC News that Simon Ekpa is an IPOB leader, the Global Family of Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB) have reiterated that Simon Ekpa is not an IPOB member, let alone a leader within the peaceful movement for Biafra restoration. In a press release signed by IPOB Media and Publicity Secretary Ima Powerful, IPOB maintained that she has some family units in Finland and Simon Ekpa is not a registered member of any IPOB unit in Finland or any other unit globally. Mr. Ekpa, a known agent provocateur, was arrested by Finnish authorities last Wednesday. He was questioned and later remanded in custody on Thursday by the Päijät-Häme District Court on charges of public incitement to commit a crime with terrorist intent from Finland. Powerful cautioned the public that no person or institution should ever link Simon Ekpa and his autopilot group to IPOB. We do not have any relationship whatsoever. Recall that Ekpa recruited violent criminals to destabilize the southeast region since late 2021. He is a self-acclaimed prime minister of an infamous small group called Biafra Republic Government in Exile, which formed the violent wing that called themselves the Biafra Liberation Army. They have perpetuated various heinous acts against civilians in the eastern region under the false pretense of Biafra agitation. His group and the Nigerian army are responsible for much killings, kidnappings, rapes, forceful disappearances, destruction, and burning of homes in the southeast. Often, Ekpa claimed responsibility for the violent actions of his gang. Previously, Ekpa has been shielded from arrest by the Nigerian and the Finnish government's diplomatic maneuver. But presently, the Zoo Defense Minister has made a request for Ekpa's extradition, which latest reports indicate have been rejected by the Finnish government, as apparently there is no extradition treaty between the two countries.
Amidst diverse reactions of the news of the arrest and detention of Ekpa, including jubilation in certain quarters, IPOB leadership has advised IPOB family members and all Biafrans to remain calm, maintain vigilance, and keep our eyes firmly on the ball as we have resolutely towards a peaceful Biafra restoration. Many innocent Biafrans who were sympathetic to Ekpa have now discovered that he was a destructive paid agent sent to infiltrate and damage genuine and potent IPOB self-determination mission, using deadly force or brutality to enforce an illegitimate seat at home, which has also crippled the economy. A number of vigilante group AVJ have, in a current viral video, said Simon Ekpa will pay for the lives of those killed in the state by auto criminals. Meanwhile, Governor Soludo's rating on security continues to plummet, as two of his notorious tax collectors touts were killed in Onitsha following forceful extortions from local traders. Capo Daniel, chairman of People's Rights Advocacy Platform (PRAP), an Amazonian peaceful self-determination group, has likened Simon Ekpa to Cho Ayaba Lucas, who is jailed a death for crimes against humanity, using the ragtag Amazonian Defense Force gangs to commit criminal impunity against its own people. On that note, we'll sign off Newsbits this week. Many thanks for listening. The UK Timeout continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Chive
ihe o mere? Kedu ihe o mere? Gịnị ka nwanne anyị onye ndu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu mere? Ọ ka ji nọrọ n'ime nga ruo taa. Good evening once more. Welcome to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. I remain your host, Ikechukwu Nwokoro, the United Kingdom National Coordinator. I'll translate that Igbo saying from the lyrics of the music we just have. I love that song so much. Simply ask, what has he done? What has Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu done that he is still in the dungeon, in illegal incarceration up to date? Dear listeners, you're welcome once again to the People's Parliament, and I have with me tonight very distinguished panel. They've been here before and made excellent contributions. Some of you chatted with us and requested for them to come back, and here they are today. But before they introduce themselves, it is clear that the unity of Igbo is key to the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No doubt, when Igbo come together, speak in one voice, and remain united, we can influence the leadership of Nigeria to do the needful. It's equally good that some well-known Igbo have been speaking up of late. We still need more prominent Igbo sons and daughters to speak out and call on Tinubu to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as it is widely and rightfully believed that releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will end the insecurity in the southeast, if not the whole Biafra land. Amid the frenzy and somewhat hysteria of calling for Onyendu's release, are there enough sincerity of purpose and unity to translate our words into positive action? Could some of these calls be another political soundbite or even hypocritical political correctness with no truth whatsoever in them? How can we garner enough energy and synergy for a truthful, fruitful result? That is what my panel is here to illustrate tonight. They are very knowledgeable and experienced Igbo leaders here in the UK, and I'm very pleased to invite them to reintroduce themselves once again. But let me quickly tell you that due to the weather situation here in the United Kingdom and some parts of Europe as well, there has been traffic disruptions and even communication hiccups and glitches, which is no doubt affecting us tonight. But we are managing, and hopefully will come to you loud and clear. Some of our guests are stuck in traffic. Some of the traffic is a bit too noisy for them to join, but as soon as it's convenient, they will be able to join us. Let me start with the person who has successfully joined us, even though it's in traffic. Doc, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself once again.
Thank you, Prince Mazi Nnamdi, for this good time and this project that is needful at this time. My name is Dr. Michael Chukwujeku. I'm an expert of sustainable development. I'm the Secretary, Congress of Igbo Leaders, and Head of Planning and Strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Michael Chukwujeku is the Chief Planner of the very popular Igbo Festival of Arts and Culture, IFAC, held annually in London, where Igbos come together to celebrate our rich cultural heritage and diversity as well. Doc, you're most welcome. We are awaiting Dr. Nnamdi, who has been here last week. He is the President Emeritus of Ohaneze Ndigbo, United Kingdom and Ireland, as well as Dr. Jude Eze, the current President of Obako Ndigbo, United Kingdom and Ireland. It's a conference of doctors tonight, but Dr. Michael, Asanubus on Angumirioma. So you are the one who has managed to beat the storm, communication-wise, to be here first. Let me start with you. And in your field, I'm sure you are very knowledgeable about sincerity of purpose. For the sake of our listeners who may not understand exactly what that phrase means, what exactly is sincerity of purpose in the context of community or Igbo unity?
Well, thank you very much, Chief Nice. If we get to elicit this fact of sincerity, then purpose. So, 2 words. So let's start with sincerity first. Sincerity simply means, one, saying something or doing something or acting on something or being involved in something or playing a part in something without any form of deceit, without any form of hypocrisy, or without any form of dubious character in it. So, where honesty prevails, then we're talking about sincerity. So, as a matter of fact, a lot of people might put the word sincerity into a cage and said, well, I did not lie, so I was sincere. But in issue of purpose, sincerity is not just that I did not lie. It involves actions that could connote misconception or could lead other people to get misconcept information or to act in a way that they may not want to act with their clear eyes. So you can begin to see sincerity of purpose as one who may have decided within him or herself, or a community that may have decided within them, or organization that may have decided within them not to be involved in anything that will mislead other people or that will give other people any ground to act unjustly and even acting ignorantly. You know, you can make someone to act unjustly but ignorantly. And so the action of the person could lead into some quagmire or to some problems, but the person could sincerely say he was acting ignorantly, but he must have been, one way or the other, induced or cajoled into doing so by people who intentionally are not sincere. So, also, intentionally painting a single story perspective is a way of balkanizing sincerity of purpose. Now, you get into a community, you know 2 sides of a story, you tell only one side of the story. That one side of the story make other people to have an ugly feeling about a situation or about somebody. And he makes the people to act in a way that they shouldn't act. So you are a perpetrator or a seller of one story perspective. That is a mark of insincerity of purpose. So insincerity of purpose can lead to a lot of danger, damage in a community, in an organization, in a nation. But I think we could better be positive now. Let's be talking about how do we now become sincere in our purpose. We become sincere in our purpose by ensuring that we don't encourage what will hurt other people. What will sell a bad story, an unbalanced story to young generation, to adults, to children, and to the enemies, and to friends. We try to always balance our story, say what happened, why it happened, how it happened. Many people are experts of saying what happened, but they're never interested in saying why it happened and how it happened. Of course, we know there are a lot of issues in our nation, in Igbo land, in Nigeria, that people will only talk about action that took place, but they never talk about what led to the action. Those are marks of insincerity. But we want to tell a story of sincerity today. Sincerity is, let's get to the bottom, let's balance it. This is what happened, this is what led to what happened, this is when it happened, this is how it happened, this is who and who are involved, what could be done to better the situation, this is what could be done to better the situation. That's sincerity of purpose.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Chukwujeku. That was a wonderful epilogue. A very, very intellectual, but very simplistic as well, definition and description of sincerity of purpose. Let me welcome our next guest, Dr. Nnamdi Igwe. Doc, please reintroduce yourself to our listeners, and thank you so much for coming in despite the hazards of traffic in this horrible weather condition. Your sacrifices and service to Igbo community in the diaspora is well commended, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, listeners. Thank you, Chief Nwokolo. Thank you, my colleagues, Dr. Michael Chukwujeku and Dr. Jude Eze or whoever else is here. I'm sorry to join now. It's been hectic. I was trying to get home. The weather is horrible. But I just managed to get home now. So, my name is Dr. Nnamdi Igwe. I was the former President General for Igbo in the UK and Northern Ireland. I am one of the community leaders, and I'm very happy to be here to contribute to this very important discussion on sincerity of purpose and unity, ramifications as it concerns Igbo, both at home and in diaspora. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Igwe. Dr. Igwe is from Ebonyi in Biafra.
From Ebonyi, yes.
Yes, so we always define ourselves where we are from so that people can go and verify. And also we can always give you the right warm reception and the protection when we know that you are your homeland. You know, we are not one of those who say, my mama say, Abi Igbo. And where they are from, they have no clue. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, Doc. You're most welcome. Dr. Chukwujeku has just eloquently defined and described at the same time sincerity of purpose. Let me ask you from your own perspective, knowledge and experience, how you will put it in context.
Okay, thank you so much. It's self-explanatory when you talk of sincerity. If you take it on its own, it means to be honest, it means to be truthful, it means reliability. It means that my yes is my yes, my no is my no. Now, when you juxtapose it to purpose, sincerity of purpose, that means that it means that there's something, there's a goal, which honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, my yes is my yes, I am black, I'm white, towards that goal. So when it is what you say that you do, and it is you're reliable, you're honest, then you are going to achieve the goal. And now, when you expand it, in theoretical terms, it now means that it's not only individual. When you bring community into it, when community are honest, they are reliable, they are have the same goal to achieve. Imagine, it means that they will achieve their aim, they achieve their goal, they will make progress because everybody is working towards the same goal. They have a plan and they're working towards that plan. They are not fearing of sabotage. They are not fearing of betrayal. They are not fearing that somebody will not do what is said. If there is money that you've given Mr. A to go and buy something for that project, you will know that money will be used as agreed. He will not go and share it into two and put somewhere, and that project will not go ahead. So there is a sign, is sincerity. It is an indication of honesty, of truthfulness, also of idea of God, because the Igbo people, we trust God and we respect God. So we think that people, that's why also we bring offer in the olden days, it's still today. We bring offer and say, oh, all of us, this offer, it means we are committed as brothers, as one blood. That whatever we want to do, nobody should try to sabotage it. We should all do it. So, sincerity of purpose is so important, for the community, for unity, for peace, for progress. I think I will leave it for here. I will expatiate as we go on.
Thank you so much, Doc. You have actually hit the hammer on the head. You nailed it. The Holy Book says, let your yea be yea and your no be no.
Be no.
And in the common palace, or in pidgin English, they say toknado. You match your words with positive action.
Yes.
You say what you mean and you mean what you say.
You do. Exactly.
And in IPOB, we say we are whiter than white. That's the Nnamdi Kanu's phrase. And we are whiter than snow. People think it's just slogan or national anthem. No. It is sincerity of purpose.
Yeah.
You always your phone ogu. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Absolutely.
And that is what we are asking for. So thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate that description and definition. Dr. Chukwujeku, you started by saying some of the indications or signs of sincerity of purpose. Can you please expatiate what some of the signs we can see, as well as what can hamper or hinder a community in particular achieving sincerity of purpose? Dr. Michael Chukwujeku, please unmute.
He's still muted.
Okay, yes. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Nice, for that. Are you able to rephrase your question to me again, please?
Yes, Doc. I was saying that you are already beginning to give us some of the signs of sincerity of purpose or the lack of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking if you can expatiate a little bit more and also tell us some of the things that can hinder or hamper achieving sincerity of purpose.
All right. Thank you very much, Nice. Because what sincerity of purpose, as we can see, is something that can lead a community forward, and is something that can destroy a community if there is none of it. So insincerity of purpose can destroy and damage a community, can destroy and damage a nation. So normally, when you see a sign of hypocrisy, a sign of greed, a sign of no one except me. In Igbo, call it onye kwụrụ ọtọ enwutuo ya sọmụọ eze ya kwụ ọtọ, where only one king will have to be standing. Some of these things destroy, they work against sincerity of purpose. Because a particular king that always wants to be on top will always want to make people to see in his own perspective, to only see his own lenses. So, and this leads to a lot of kings who bribe people to ensure that people see only through his own lenses. Therefore, sincerity of purpose is murdered ab initio. Where hypocrisy thrives, sincerity of purpose is murdered. Where people are egocentric, selfish, egocentric, sincerity of purpose is murdered. Where people think they are the only people who can prefer solution to an issue, where people think that only thing they say is what could be accepted by all, sincerity of purpose is murdered. Because this does not usually end in that wishes, it goes deeper into recruiting, pacifying, pleasing people wrongly, directly and indirectly, to ensure that they stand by your own thoughts, by your own ideas, by your own will, notwithstanding or not considering how your own will provides solution to the entire community, how your own idea suits or benefits the community. So that mixture of egocentrism, power tussle, greed, they go a long way to mar and destroy sincerity of purpose. And any community, any nation where insincerity of purpose is upheld, whether by bribing people or pacifying people with power or authority or rulership, the nation, the community will keep having problems. And people will always be bought over to say the wrong thing than to do the right thing. To do the wrong thing also than to say the right thing. So, some of these are things that you could see in the political arena, in the rulership arena, cultural and traditional arena. They are things you will see in authoritarian circles. But how do we, in a positive light, refuse to be subjected to insincerity of purpose? How do we achieve honesty? But the truth be told, in Nigeria today, where a cup of rice is now so expensive, where a cup of gari is now more than 300 naira, sincerity of purpose becomes a challenge. The people who are normally sincere before, hunger may have pushed them to the extent that they tell you it is somebody that is alive that becomes sincere. If you are not alive, you will not be sincere. So that is the problem, a problem that the situation of Nigeria had caused to both the Igbos, the Hausas, and the Yorubas. And it's making people to sell their birthright, to sell the truth, which is not supposed to be. Because they've been deprived, they've been made vulnerable. But there must still be a sense, there must still be people who hold forth and say, if I perish, I perish. Sincerity must uphold.
Absolutely.
Our purpose must uphold. Exactly. People can still say, look, if we go by the biblical narratives, and then with the relationship of the biblical narrative to the Igbo culture and tradition, we see that there are people who will stand there and say, if I perish, I perish. The truth must be told. Not in my generation, not in my own time.
Thank you, Doc. Let me go straight to Dr. Igwe. Dr. Igwe, I know you are a Democrat and you believe so much in it. Igbo are referred to widely as Republicans, which also makes them Democrat. What is the relationship between sincerity, security, and unity of a people or a nation? And then link that up at the same time with the insecurity presently in our Igbo. Is it as a result of insincerity of purpose?
Thank you very much. Nice for this question. Where in any community that sincerity of purpose is lacking, it means that there is a flourishing of insincerity of purpose, bad things. If I put it in a so that we can understand, sincerity means good things. Insincerity means bad things. Okay? Now, if you follow it on this pathway so that everybody can understand it, okay, it means that where you remove sincerity of purpose, what you replace it with is terrible things. And I can enumerate them: kidnapping, telling lies, insecurity, killings, bribery, corruption, you name it. Is countless. Okay? Now, if you bring it to what is happening in the Southeast, the insecurity we have in the Southeast, you can clearly see why we are where we are today. Okay? It is unfortunate, for instance, that IPOB is also having its own challenges and divided into two. Or there are people claiming, there are factions. Now, factionalization or divide and rule is as a result of insincerity of purpose, lack of sincerity of purpose. If not, some of the things enumerated by Dr. Chukwujeku, ego, okay, power tussle, okay, selfishness, self-aggrandizement, okay, are what you find they multiply, they flourish in the absence of sincerity of purpose. Insecurity in the Southeast is directly linked to these challenges. Take, for instance, sit at home. Sit at home is not good for Southeast. Okay? And it destroyed our economy. And some people are also killed. There is violence. Okay? Now, it was said that it's IPOB that declared it. Nnamdi Kanu has said he didn't declare sit at home. Don't do it. Then Simon Ekpa's own group said, oh, well, you should carry it out. You see, this kind of thing is what comes in. If there were honesty, sincerity of purpose, what they should do, IPOB, is to stay together and find the cause. But because one group, whether they are part or not, they go and form a different one and start behaving in a different way. The same thing happens in politics. If I bring it to politics, in our own people, in the normal description of, you said I'm a Democrat. In democracy, they say that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. But it's not the same thing we have today, politics in Nigeria. Politics is about democracy. But today is, they call it in my own language, Okwadike Kuria. That's what politics is. That's what our people. And in Igbo language, they say the politics, Okwadroke Kuria. That means things that are never
deceit and lies.
Yeah, that the people are proud to say, politics is things that are never what you said. That there's always another meeting after a meeting. So in politics, you progress in Nigeria the way it is now is the worst people, the people that tell most lies, the people who are not sincere, the people who are, those are the people that do politics, those are the people that progress. And that is why we have the challenges from our wards, from our communities, from our villages, from our local government to our state, to our national level. And even in Africa. That's what you get because there is lack of sincerity of purpose. So, in summary, sincerity of purpose is so crucial for peace, for unity, for development, and security, and progress. Where there is lack of sincerity of purpose, you replace it with all manners of evil, and hell will let loose. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Igwe. You actually moved us to the next question, of course, which is the cross of the matter, which is releasing Nnamdi Kanu. We end insecurity in our Igbo. Everybody has said that. Now the issue is there enough sincerity of purpose and unity by Igbo to effect the release of Nnamdi Kanu so that insecurity will completely stop? Before I throw the lines open for our listeners who may want to join us to come in and also take that question to Dr. Chukwucheku, let me make a couple of clarifications from what Dr. Igwe said. You are right in your general overview and perception, but I want to put this on notice and categorically state that there are no factions in IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra. IPOB remains one united, indivisible, indissoluble, indomitable family. And that is the structure Nnamdi Kanu put in place. Nnamdi Kanu himself is just one figurehead of that structure he put in place. Even though IPOB, just like every other freedom fighting movement or liberation organization, I'm sure you're very vast on research, go and check, never operates on democratic setting. It's always a quasi-military setting. If you like, call it autocratic. We operate by command and control structure. But IPOB is probably the first worldwide that operates in a semi-democratic setting where we have different structures or hierarchy of leadership that works, but still it is command and control. What happened, as you rightly pointed out, just for our listeners, I'm sure many of them already know, is that the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, which was well planned and orchestrated, funded heavily. It was a heavy project that lasted over 2 years before it was executed, with a lot of people with sincerity of purpose, even within IPOB, that led to that thing succeeding, but was masterminded by the government of Nigeria and this country, Great Britain. I'll say it, you can take it to the bank. Once it happened, they had people in plans already they wanted to introduce into IPOB as infiltrators to hijack and kill the movement. And that gave birth to the person in Finland that you mentioned that just been arrested. He is not a member of IPOB, that is Simon Ekpa. He is not a leader of any faction of IPOB. He lashed in and lynched and attached himself to IPOB like an ectoparasite to suck the life out of IPOB, but he's unable to achieve that. And that is what has put him where he is presently. So he and his sponsors, many of whom are from Igbo, I will say it, many of whom are Igbo in the describe who have insincerity of purpose, who have greed, who have avarice, who have wickedness, who have all manner of hell, as you said, unleashing on our people, are the sponsors of Simon Ekpa to do what he has done in our sacred land. IPOB mass movement never will partake in impurity, insecurity, insincerity, or criminality. We will never. So all the things that have been done and tagged onto IPOB are by infiltrators, agent provocateurs, and their sponsors, many of whom are Igbo. That's why we're discussing today. And Nnamdi Kanu has declared, even in court, that release him and let him give him 2 days, and all this nonsense will stop. So now the question is, do we have enough sincerity of purpose to try that experiment Nnamdi Kanu asked us to do? Release him and see if all this nonsense, including the Ekpa, will not stop in 2 days. Why, Dr. Chukwujekwu, I'll come to you before I invite our listeners. Is it difficult for us to have that sincerity of purpose to pursue this experiment Nnamdi Kanu has said? Release me, and in 2 days, all this rubbish will stop. Some people are speaking up now. It's good. We saw Richard Okorocha at Ifeanyi Uba's service of song and tribute, saying all manner of things. But it's easy to talk. Talk is cheap, or talking from both sides of your mouth. Do they have the heart? Do they have the sincerity of purpose to put their words into action, to match those words with commensurate action? Dr. Chukwujekwu, before you come in, let me tell our listeners the numbers to call. If you're calling from the UK, the number is direct 074-481-83132. I'd say that again. WhatsApp only, please. 074-481-83132. And if you're calling outside of UK, you put the United Kingdom code, which is +44. So that would be +44-74-481-83132. We'll be happy to take your calls. But let's go to our guest, Dr. Chukwujekwu. Releasing Nnamdi Kanu to end all this insecurity, why are there not enough sincerity of purpose? Or let me put the other way around. Do we have enough sincerity of purpose to make this happen? It doesn't take long for it to happen if we do.
Very much. Thank you very much, Chief Nai. And I must say thank you very much to Dr. Nnamdi, the President Emeritus of Ohaneze Igbo, UK and Ireland, for the factual and insightful comments on this discourse. As a matter of fact, because we are dealing with this title, Sincerity of Purpose, we stand on a pedestal that is built on sincerity. And the question is, releasing Nnamdi Kanu, will it end insecurity in the southeast? That will take me to one of the facts that I proposed when I was explaining or defining what sincerity of purpose is. The quest of power and authority, it's what is holding the release of Nnamdi Kanu in Igbo land. But before I elucidate on this, let me quickly say, a lot of journalists, a lot of people had wanted, sometimes it was said, sometimes it was not clearly said, let there be a declaration by Nnamdi Kanu on the position and state of Simon Ekpa. As a matter of fact, we are all present when Simon Ekpa rose. And we all know how he rose. Power corrupts, and corrupt absolutely. So if, in my view, I thought you would have severed these two topics, let's just concentrate on sincerity of purpose, on why Nnamdi Kanu is not released, and why he must be released. The issue of Simon Ekpa should be on another parallel. Because I think that the initial power, strength that Simon Ekpa got was in one way or the other accorded to him. And the ground on which that has to be dealt with.
You're very correct, Doc. We are not discussing Simon Ekpa. We are focused on the sincerity of purpose of Igbo to get Nnamdi Kanu out to end the insecurity.
Thank you. Let me go ahead on that. Now, the sincerity of purpose to get Nnamdi Kanu out is when all the Igbo, we start from the subjects, the children, the youth, the adults, the leaders, the led, the traditional rulers, the politicians will come with one voice and say, this is our son. His life was threatened. A lot of things that happened to him have happened contrary to the rule of law and contrary to all the positive and to all the lawful approach to his abdication, up till the level of the court where he's won his cases that he needs to be released. Saying this does not mean that you are engaging the government into a war or you're drawing a line of war with the government. It is legal that the legal instruments, the legal constitution of Nigeria had made him to be a winner in all the cases. Why would he be still held unconstitutionally? So until the entire Igbo people, the students, the working class, the people in education, the people in the health sector, the people in the traditional and cultural realms, and the politicians say that this thing that is legal needs to be done, the legal approach to our son Nnamdi Kanu needs to be effected. We're not asking for something that is not established. We're not asking for something that is unconstitutional. We're asking that you have taken somebody to court and he's won you in the court and you're saying you will not release him. You haven't given a ground. And we will also ask the councils of Nnamdi Kanu to go ahead and apply for his acquittance So you can, in a court, get a judgment, discharged, but not acquitted. So let's get the legal instruments right. Let's apply to all the things that need to be applied for. Some people do apply for acquittance. Some people apply to other legal instruments even after they have been discharged. Let's get the legal team to apply for this, and let all the angles and sectors of Ndi Igbo continue now to promote, to campaign, to say with one voice, let the law be obeyed. But having said that, I want to take us a little bit to the memory lane. Reason there are insincerity of purpose in this matter, because I am seeing insincerity, like Dr. Igbo said. If you remove sincerity of purpose, what you have put in is insincerity of purpose. Now, the people that think that they are the spokespersons of Igbo land or the political cadre in Igbo land, everybody is egocentric. When I was defining insincerity of purpose, I talked about that. Single story perspective and egocentrism. Now, when Nnamdi Kanu was initially released, you and me, the whole world were seeing the most trending person in the world was Nnamdi Kanu. He was trending all over the world. The Pope knew who he was, who he is. The President of America then knew who he is. The Prime Minister of UK knew who he is. Even the Queen knew who he is. So he was trending. And therefore, some people are insecure. How can this young man come to become the talk of the town in the whole world? Al Jazeera was coming. CNN was coming. Everybody in the world from Turkey, they were coming. Towns were coming to pay homage and royalty to him. And people were like, how dare we be here? And this young man now become the ruler of Ndi Igbo. That is where the problem is. And so people felt, not as we are here shall this happen. And that is what is still happening. Therefore, we beckon all the people. The Igbo land is not, and if I read the lips well, the releasing of Nnamdi Kanu is not coming to become the ruler of Igbo land. He is rather asking that Igbo's marginalization of Ndi Igbo, marginalization of Igbo land stops. So let us understand. So if people are going to go to make sure that he's not released, otherwise if he comes in, they will not win their state again if election takes place. Some people will think they will not win their constituency if election takes place. That is the political cadre. So are there people that we need to say, come and sing this song with us? It will be the political sector. And most of these political sectors influence the cultural and traditional sector. So, the bottom line of insincerity of purpose had to be dealt with. And the beginning is, let's start a campaign, very well captioned campaign that is underpinned on legality of releasing Nnamdi Kanu, and let's run a trending campaign. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listeners, you have heard our distinguished guests on today's program. They are still here. They're going to give us more insight. But I want to remind you that you can join us from now till about 9:15 or thereabout. You can join us. The numbers to call are, if you're in the UK, it's WhatsApp number 074 481 83132. I take it again. 074 481 83132. And if you are calling from outside of the United Kingdom, you put the country code +44. That means +44 74 481 83132. Dr. Igwe will take the caller online because once they start coming, they might take over the whole place. Let me ask you from what Dr. Chukwujeku said already. Yes, legality, that's where IPOB stand. As I said, we will never endorse illegality or criminality because IPOB is a peaceful movement. We have charted a course that will lead us to restoration of Biafra in a peaceful way. Some people think it's impossible, but I want to shock them tonight again to say it is very possible. So that is the route we are on, and we are never going to deviate. Let me ask you, Dr. Igwe, this matter of sincerity.
Sorry to interject. There is a call on the line. Caller, go ahead and speak, please, and introduce yourself.
Okay, let's quickly take the caller. Caller, tell us your name, where you're calling from. Ask your questions straight to me, or make your comment.
Speaker Ordinata Dixon, residing here in UK. And my question is to the panel. Thank you so much for your knowledge and expertise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead and ask your question, please.
We lost him. Can you go ahead and...
I think we lost the caller. Oh, sorry. Try and call back. Dr. Igwe was coming to you to say the insincerity of purpose amongst the whole community, not just politicians now, because we already defined that the matter of release of Nnamdi Kanu is a political solution.
Yeah, my question is simple. The bone of contention is what actions can we take? What actions can we take?
Caller, your number is really, really very, I don't know, maybe your area, UK,
we have an idea of what he's trying to say. We can answer it. What can we do to release Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes, we say what action can we take? So,
yeah, it's not part of the question already. Yeah. So thank you very much, the caller and Chief Nice. I'm an optimist. I wouldn't say there's insincerity all over the place. I would say that the positive voices should continue to rise. There should be sincerity of purpose. That's the way I should put it. More sincerity of purpose by everyone, all hands to be on deck. I wish to appeal strongly and passionately and sincerely to President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to please release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, because the court has spoken in his favor. All the facts favor his release. It will contribute to peace and unity returning to the Southeast and to Nigeria. And there is precedence. Igbo has been released unconditionally. Sowore has been released unconditionally. Previously, freedom fighters,
Boko Haram, any of them.
Yeah, freedom fighters in the South. There was amnesty program there. Many of the Boko Haram people have been pardoned, and so on and so forth. Nnamdi Kanu has not done anything unusual or even near any of this. He has a peaceful organization that is using non-violent approach to ask for freedom. And so, based on that, We are appealing for him to be unconditionally released, and the time to do it is now. I want to appeal to all and sundry, the youths, the women, the elders, the traditional rulers, the political class, the captains of industry, the business class, all in Igbo, both at home and in diaspora, and all other people, good, well-meaning Nigerians, to join hands and appeal to government of President Tinubu to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It will help, tremendously for peace and unity to return to Southeast. It will deal a big blow to the insecurity in the Southeast and by extension other parts of the country. It will lower the political temperature in the country and it will return the country to the path of peace, to the path of honor, and to the path of unity and progress, which is the dream of the founding fathers. And I want to also add that what Nnamdi Kanu was even calling for, other people have called for it, even the elders. I mean, the latest one was coming from, Ango Abdullahi of the Northern People's Union. Okay? The Northern Elders Forum has said Nigeria independence, union has expired. They said it. And it's time to renegotiate. So, it is, I haven't seen where Ango Abdullahi had been arrested, or other people who have said such thing. So, why should Nnamdi Kanu's own be different? Whatever is good for the geese is also good for the gander. And I want to reiterate again, Nandi Igbo na-asị na anyị kọọ mamịrị ọnụ ọgbọ ụfụfụ. And I call.
Sorry, Chief Nice, there is a caller on the line now, please.
Okay. So
go ahead and speak.
Go ahead and
speak.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, caller, please tell us your name where you're coming from. Borrow a leaf from what the IPOB leadership has been doing in terms of sincerity of purpose. Something like the making sure that the ESN and the agricultural farming project, which has been very beneficial to the community. I don't know whether there's any other ideas that you can prescribe to induce sincerity of purpose to Igbo. Please, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think thank you. You went straight to give us a suggestion. Yes, we'll talk about what IPOB is doing, but Doc, please round off your.
Yeah, so as part of what the last caller is asking, you see, if we end sit at home today, it will lower also the temperature in the Southeast and the insecurity, and allow people to do their business, because hunger can breed insecurity. Hunger can breed insincerity of purpose. Hunger can defeat. A hungry man is an angry man. That today, the economy of Southeast is in tatters because people don't go to work. They are afraid, Monday, by Tuesday, before you start your business, before you know it, the week is finished. So, we must end sit at home. It will encourage, businesses and allow people to have means of livelihood. And I also want the issue of kidnapping. I want to appeal to our people because, again, is brought about by this insincerity of purpose. Kidnapping is evil, and it shouldn't happen. The issue of this Fulani herdsmen attacking farmers must stop. It must stop in the Southeast and allow farmers to go to their farms, because if people farm, they will eat. And if there is food security, the worst thing is food insecurity. food insecurity. Because, like I said, the hungry man is an angry man. If you go to farm, the children will eat, the women will eat, and the fathers will eat as well. And it will help to lower the temperature, to stop evil in our community.
Thank you so
we
much.
must work very hard to make sure government must support this. The governors, the local government chairman, the commissioner, all the political class, they need to come together and work on all this so that Nnamdi Kanu is released and all these vices must stop. Anyone engaging with it is not Igbo, and Igbo are not known to do bad things, especially against themselves. We must regain Igbo. We must rebuild Igbo. It must be well within the Igbo.
Thank you, Dr. Igwe. Our caller was making very valid contribution. He made mention of two things which IPOB has championed. One is security of our farmland, especially, and our neighborhood, which the Eastern Security Network has been at the forefront. Everybody knows what the ESN stood for. Bianca Ojukwu, in a summit, or Hanese summit, declared openly that if not for ESN, this was nearly 2 years ago, that we would have been overrun. And that is a statement of fact. It remains so till even today. So the Eastern Security Network, established by the IPOB in December 2020, almost 4 years now, has been a blessing to our place, because we are talking about security here. It's fundamental to every other discussion underneath it. And IPOB is championing it. It costs a lot of money. The government, states, local government, and the rest are not doing anything. I remember when we were growing up, there were vigilantes in every community, and they were doing an excellent job. Everywhere was peaceful, well secure, which is partly what ESN is doing, mainly in our bushes, our forests, our farms, to ensure that our farmers at least have the confidence, or stay alive to have the confidence to continue farming to feed our people. And in addition, IPOB has also started last year farming or agricultural project, which we support farmers with free seedlings. We got feedback, interesting feedback this year. The harvest this year was well above what they had last year, and we are continuing with that again. Again, it's a capital-intensive project, importing or rather sourcing these seedlings and distributing it, genuine organic seedlings, so that our people will not be exposed out of hunger to GMO and other dangerous seedlings that may damage our health. These projects IPOB do quietly, without much noise about, because if we make noise about it, our enemies who want us to perish in one day will again attack it the way they are attacking Nnamdi Kanu, the way they are attacking ESN. Needs support of our people, and we'll be calling on our people here in the UK on the 7th of December. We are doing our ESN end of year fundraising to ensure that our land is secure, especially for this festive season. Last year, people went home and it was quite peaceful. They didn't know the work IPOB did and ESN did behind the scene to ensure that we had a very enjoyable festive season, devoid of insecurity, or at least reduce insecurity, which we want to do even better this year. Dr. Chukwujekwa, I want to come to you before we take the next caller. Please, the caller, wait a minute. Dr. Igwe mentioned a lot of things that are pertinent, but in answer to the first caller's question, do you have anything to add to that?
Thank you very much, Chief Knight Smoker. I have 3 things to add on what my colleague, Dr. Nnamdi had succinctly enumerated. He's really said a lot of things that are very, very important. I want to submit that the stage where we are now, and I will request that not only IPOB, but all Igbo worldwide take note of this and let's have an action plan. The Igbo people say na ewu ora na agboru ni ewu na agu na igbu ya. We can have a voice. We can have a strategy and have a voice on this, on the X, on the Facebook, on the Instagram, on the Skype, and we are talking, of course, talking awareness makes impact in this present day world stage. That's accepted. But I believe that we releasing Nnamdi Kanu, all the people that are concerned, and Igbo. And when I said Igbo, in addition to what Dr. Nanigwe said, he enumerated all the sectors, but we include the religious group of Igbo. We need to have a strategic think tank that will only concentrate on what to do to get Nnamdi Kanu out of the prison. That strategic think tank has to involve everybody from every sector. The educationists, the researchers, the young boys, the young girls, the market women, the businessmen, the church, the religious group, the work sector. So all the people need to get involved, and the only task will be strategic think tank for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. In that forum, a proper step-by-step action plan will be consummated and executed, implemented, and it will work like magic. I want to make an instance. Somebody that is held unlawfully. We saw the minors in the northern states. They were held unlawfully because by law you are not supposed to hold the minors at the rate they were held. But the northerners, our northern counterparts, they did their in-house strategic think tank plan and implementation and mounted the pressure, whichever way it had to be mounted, and they were released unconditional. Even if you say it's conditional, they were released. And like Dr. Nanigwe said, a lot of people had been involved in things that had been released. So this should not be an exception. But having said that, I said that people who are egocentric, that are thinking that release of Nnamdi Kanu would disfranchise, would displace them from what they are holding. But this strategic think tank will look into all those and bring out a plan that has to be implemented, and a result will come. But I submit, I yield the mic from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Igwe, let's go back to that question I was trying to ask earlier. A lot of people are speaking up now, and it's very good. I commend it. But again, talk is cheap. And some of our people think these things they are saying is just political soundbite. It's being hypocritical. There is no sincerity in it. An example is Rocha Sokorocha. All this talk about our appeals to Tinubu and the APC to release Nnamdi Kanu, is there in truth enough sincerity of proposing it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice. I would like to say that is a sign of good, is a welcome development. Because one philosopher said it's better to think wrongly than not to think at all. Because you cannot, if you sit in your comfort, if there is no progress, if you don't make effort at all, it is worse than making effort. Let me give you an instance. If you listen, I don't know, the reply of Senate President to what Okorocha said, it was like a bullet Okorocha threw at him. And even when he mentioned, when he might think he was joking and say your wife is Igbo, and we might come.
No, Dr. Chukwucheku, can you mute, please?
Mute. Chukwucheku, mute. Chukwucheku, mute. Chukwucheku, mute. Can you mute him? Can you mute
Dr. Chukwucheku, can you mute your end? So if you can, okay.
Yeah. So, sorry. Now, I said again that it is better, is a welcome development, the rising voices for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the Igbo extraction. And I wish that it will be louder and louder and louder until I believe that it will not be long. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released unconditionally. The reason why I'm saying this is that if we take His Excellency Anayo Okorocha's statement, he threw it like a bomb to the Senate President. Now, this is why I think such a boldness, it was a very topical moment that he seized to deliver a very, very subtle but powerful message. To somebody that he knows that is close to the president. And Senate President promised that he would deliver that message and he will come back to him to tell him he delivered it. Now, it's not only to him. Look at it. If I go back a little bit memory lane, there has been a lot of delegation, even to the former President Buhari, by our people, united. The boy is good, in his wheelchair, led the delegation. In that delegation was Okwadiki Ibuku as well, and other powerful, notable Igbos. They had led several delegations because political solution is part of this. Prayers, speaking up, all sorts of strategies is a and legal approach. It's a faceted approach that will bring him out. Ultimately, God will intervene. So I believe that more people, there is sincerity in that. Let more people speak up, just like we are doing now. We are not being violent. We are not forceful. We are appealing that on compassionate ground, the prisoner of conscience should be released, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so that it will help for nation building. It will help for national cohesion. It will help to solve insecurity, not only in the southeast, but also across the country. So I believe that the more people speak, speak up, the message will hit home. Now, if I take the issue of the minors that were held, and like this, President, once he heard people talk, we have been talking, and that is part of why we are saying that the Igbos are being marginalized. Why should Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be different when Igbo was released, when Sowore was released, when Boko Haram people have been pardoned and they even brought back, when amnesty program had been done in the south, you know, and so on and so forth. So we believe, and I believe, that more of our people should continue to speak, should continue to advocate that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. And I believe that the president is listening, and I believe he's a listening president. It's time to do the needful.
Thank you, Doc. I share in belief and optimism. I totally agree. It's better we speak out and speak up as well, which we are doing now. Dr. Michael, I'm coming to you as we are rounding up, unless we get a few more calls. I have time for a few more calls. I'm coming to you to look at what you said. I asked Dr. Ife this question last time he was on, but I want to ask you now. The appointment of Iyom Bianca Odinaka Ojukwu as a junior minister. You mentioned about having a coalition of top Igbo people from across sectors, religious, political, captains of industry and all that coming together as a think tank to move for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. I'm aware it's something like that started when the wife of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu traveled to Nigeria in August and spent some time. She did a lot of groundwork in this regard. I want to ask you now, what role or what expectation should we have of Bianca Ojukwu in her present position in the cabinet of Tinubu?
Thank you very much, Prince Nice. Having said that, whilst I will say one part of my brain will say, well, this could be partially an expectation in terms of the think tank panel or strategic planning on releasing, having a strong voice, pushy voice, creating awareness for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Having said that, in terms of Bianca's role as the minister, I believe that she was given terms of reference, or apparently she would have known the role of a minister, what she needs to do. What she needs to do as a minister, it's all embedded in her portfolio. And her ministry is Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In one way or the other, the issue of Nnamdi Kanu has some elements of foreign jurisdiction in it. And bringing this discourse to align with releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Well, she is Minister Foreign Affairs for Nigerians who are in diaspora, and also for some issues that relates to Nigeria back at home. So, the Nigerians in diaspora, the Nigerians that are in the foreign land, when we have activated the think tank, strategic think tank that I suggested, a memo of her involvement could be dispatched to her. We need a voice. In this day and age, you create a role. You put what the performance of the role is expected of. The person that is expected will now perform the role. You write a script, somebody plays it. If you want to do the best Nollywood movie or Hollywood movie in the world, and you keep talking about it, and you go and bring the best actors and actresses, and you haven't written a script, they will never act.
Right. That's right. Thank you. Doc, just let me interject there. We have questions have come through callers via Facebook as well. Okay. Mazi, can we have the questions, or are the callers still online? If we have the question, let's quickly deal with it, please.
Yes, the question that came through is, can't the Biafrans in both chambers of Nigerian legislation take actions like strike?
Okay, good. Dr. Chukujek, you have a go at that first, then Dr. Igbo will come in.
Thank you very much. And when we say the Nigerian legislation, we're talking about the upper house and the lower house, the Senate and the federal house, or are we also talking about the state assemblies?
No, he's saying the federal first. Can they go on strike in protestation?
Okay, it's a good gesture, but because we want to talk about practicality, and exactly why I said, and I keep saying, strategic think tank. As a matter of fact, in the National Assembly, in Senate and Federal House, some people are there with the mandate of the ruling party. And many of these people, we want to be practical here, many of these people will never, to your greatest imagination, go whatever they think, in quotes, contrary to the will of their leader. So many of them...
So that is insincerity.
That is insincerity of purpose. Many of them will resent on going on strike, but they will be political. They will tell you there are ways to do this, that they will handle it, that they will do this, they will do that, they will do that. So you talk about the strike when you have gotten the heart of the people. And so when you have a strategic plan and you've written the script, when it gets to your turn to act, if you have written a proper script, when it gets to your turn to act, if you don't act, people will boo you. If you act, people will support you. So you are in between line, you must do something. You must either act or not act. So there has to be that script written that can compel people. There are, like we're talking about...
Let me come to you. Thank you, Dr. Chukuje, because time is running out. Let me come to Dr. Igwe. You said the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a listening president. Do you think he has the sincerity of purpose as well? There's a viral video that came out yesterday of a lady from the Northeast who was also nominated same time with Bianca Ojukwu for ministerial position, but she declined and said Tinubu invited her to London about the same time we went to meet Tinubu and deliver a letter to plead with her to herself, but she refused because she asked Tinubu the question what he has for her people. And Tinubu said he has no plan, blueprint. That was the word she used for her people. Because if he ends insecurity, that the people that put him in power will come after him. They might even kill him. So do you think Tinubu has the sincerity of purpose to release Nnamdi Kanu with this mindset?
Thank you very much. Like I will always say, I'm an optimist, and that's how I thrive. I believe that there are instances where he had listened and acted swiftly. For instance, the release of these minors, he listened and acted immediately. And he engaged when the issue of minimum wage was getting out of hand. Those who were handling the discussion, it didn't work well. He immediately called and addressed the NLC directly and had a meeting with them. Buhari was not doing that. there are a lot of things that show that this president is engaging. He's listening more and knows what is going on. He follows it and acts. I believe he's listening to all this that are going on. And I'm sorry to say it, but the issue of, I need to bring it in here.
Why is he not asking on Nnamdi Kanu? Is it because he's an Igbo man?
No. I am saying, and I have said that we should continue. We shouldn't get tired. That the time is coming. We should be saying more. I believe he's listening. And that he should do something. And that's why we're also still talking. More people should talk. He should do it now. Okay? And I was coming to something. Simon Ekpa has been doing a lot of more damage, not only to IPOB, but to a lot of Igbos. And it's been said several times, oh, this man should be arrested, and he has just been arrested. So I believe that something is coming, which will be positive, and which will be to the glory of God. And I think that we should not get tired, because they say that when the day is near, the night is thickest or darkest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. When the day is near, the darkness of the night is thickest.
Yes.
So I concur with that proverb.
Yes.
Time is not our friend anymore. I thank you so much, distinguished guests on today's program, Dr. Nnamdi, the President Emeritus Ohaneze Ndi Igbo UK and Ireland, and Dr. Michael Chukwujeku, the General Secretary of Congress of Igbo Leaders, CIL, organizers of the Igbo Festival of Arts and Culture, IFAC, for coming on this program for the second time. It was actually on popular demand or request that you guys should come back, and I'm very, very grateful, appreciative of your honoring it the second time. I'm sure when we call you next time, you will also be glad to join us. Unfortunately, Dr. Judu Eze, pardon me, wasn't able to join us. He has been in a very tight schedule, and the weather up north where he is with this storm is very, very, very severe, heavy. So he's not able to join us tonight. But I thank Dr. Chukwujeku and Dr. Igwe because you've done justice to this topic. And hopefully we will invite you some other time. This November we dedicated it to engaging and interacting with Igbo leaders. We thank all of you who have been on the show, Dr. Igwe, Dr. Chukwujeku, Dr. Eze, Chief Angus Chukwemeka, and Chief Barrister Ken Odoka, and so many others who represented different Igbo organizations. We will look into inviting also our other community leaders from time to time to interact on our program here and give us your perspective. It's been an honor and privilege, and we enjoyed it. The feedback we've gotten from our listeners since you've appeared the first time has been absolutely positive. And we want to reassure you that IPOB is open, transparent, have the sincerity of purpose, means very well for our people, and we do not have any skeleton in our cupboard. That's why we are extending this hand. And we'll be extending it further, as I said. You will receive my communication regarding the ESM fundraising. We have many ways of supporting us discreetly. I know our people don't want to come out openly, but they can do it through the associations, through the clubs, through the unions, and then in that way it will not be tagged to a particular person or name for those who are scared of their skull or head. But the important thing is that we secure our land, we secure our people, our place become more peaceful, prosperous. I believe that is the wish of every well-meaning Igbo person, IPOB members inclusive. So on that note, I want to thank our listeners, to those who contributed, the caller, and those who gave us some views, their comments on Facebook. We'll be interacting with you on the Facebook page as well. And to our anchorman from the Radio Biafra stables, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, thank you so much, sir. And to my UK production crew, you've been wonderful once again. Until we come your way next Sunday on the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra, I remain your host, Ikechukwu Ezumokoro, the United Kingdom National Coordinator. From me, from here, is a very good